Hey there, glad you made it. A few weeks ago, I made a post on a subreddit called Penpals that was reasonably well received. Hey, it's a pretty small community. Anyway, I set up a P.O. box and invited anyone to send me a letter. The idea is to see what kind of lives people lead all around the world. I checked my box the other day to find a nice surprise. Someone had actually sent me a letter. Yeah, technically my first letter is from myself. But someone from the Penpals Reddit had sent me something as well. You might want to watch this video first, but if you don't, you're not missing out. My very first letter is from Riana, who's from New York City in the United States. You may have heard of it before. So let's get right into her letter, shall we? So the first thing that we're met with is a little joke, and she's written, "What letter isn't in the alphabet? The one in this envelope." Yeah, I don't really get it either, but anyway, she's taped this shut, so let's get that open. Alright, here we go. So she's actually written quite a bit, it seems. I'll just take it to the desk and we'll get started. Hi Nate, my name is Riana. I've lived in New York City for the past 19 years. I moved here with my family when I was 10 months old. Over the years, I've seen a lot of pretty big changes, not only in and near my own neighborhood, but throughout the city as well. One of the most memorable changes was when they replaced all the crosswalk signs that said "walk, don't walk," with ones that have an image of a man crossing the street for walk and a red hand for don't walk. I was really young when this happened, and I think the reason why they made the switch was partly because so many New Yorkers come from other countries. Not all of them speak English. I know that this is the reason why many streets in New York City are named with numbers as opposed to actual names. Immigrants add to the character of this city, where you don't have to be like any of your neighbors to fit in. I feel so cliche saying this, but I literally cannot imagine myself living anywhere else. Right now it's winter in New York, but so far we've had 2 days where the temperature was higher than 60 degrees Fahrenheit, 15 to 16 Celsius. One of those summer and winter days was followed immediately by over 10 inches of snow. Isn't that so strange? I think it's a little scary. Now, some of the snow has melted, but many of the roads are still very icy and slippery. So I'm trying to be careful when I go out to and from classes. I'm studying mathematics at New York University, but I'm not sure what I want to do after college. Outside of school, I like to knit and crochet, sometimes paint. This year, I'm trying to read more books as well as write more. So far, I've read The Yellow Sofa by... I'm not even gonna try. It's a really short book, but I really liked it. At one point, I had to put it down because I was getting too upset thinking about what I would do if I was in the main character's place. Right now, I'm reading Mr. Mercedes by Stephen King. I like it so far. I've read other books by King, so I'm looking forward to the rest of this book. As for the writing, I've started a blog on Tumblr. I'm doing it to sort of make myself write on a regular basis. I never liked writing in high school, but I had some really cool writing professors in college. But almost all my classes are mathematics related, so I never have to write too much for any class. I took a look through your post history and noticed that you're pretty active on writing prompts. What's a favorite story that you've ever written? Another thing I'm working on this year is an Etsy shop I opened to sell some of the things I crochet. Technically I opened the shop last year, but I haven't been taking it seriously at all. This year I'm putting more effort into it, which will hopefully translate to better results. Recently I started an Instagram page for my shop. I found that this is more work than I originally thought, but I'm learning a lot, not just about running a shop, but a little photography as well. See my pics on Instagram, and that's crepundiashop, I think. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. She asks, what about you, Nate? How's it like where you live? What do you like to do for fun? I think it's really cool that you're doing this pen pal project. I'm really looking forward to the videos. It'll be so interesting to see all the different kinds of people involved in this. Hope to hear from you soon, Riana. While I was standing up recording this, someone stole my chair. So I'll just answer that question you asked midway through the letter about my stories. It's really hard to pick a favorite story because I put so much time and effort into each individual one. I like my abstract ones just as much as I like the ones that are grounded in reality, so yeah, it's a really difficult thing to say. Sorry. But yeah, thanks for that. I appreciate you taking the time to read that stuff. As for what life is like here, well, the first thing that comes to mind for me is just natural beauty. It's really hard to overstate how wonderful it is to just go for a walk in the bush, aka the forest or the woods, for people that live in America, and just see all the different types of animals and trees, natural formations like waterfalls and stuff. Of course, this is just a book. But here's the real deal, these are actual plants. This footage was taken while we were at Pacific Fair Shopping Center, which is close by to where the P.O. box is. It's just recently had a renovation, and they've added all sorts of water features and plant life to the outdoor area. It's really nicely done. I don't know if any mall in America has anything that looks even remotely nice as this. Of course, this area is a really big tourist spot, so that's probably why they've made it look so nice. But yeah, outside of visiting, if you ever want to move here, think twice if you're a hot-natured person like me. Air conditioning in any form here isn't cheap at all, so if you're used to the modern comforts of life, you'll have a really hard time here, especially in the northern states where it's not only really warm, but it's extremely humid. Moving away from that though, there are a lot of things about Australia that really took me by surprise when moving here. The first of which being that there's very limited censorship. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, especially if you follow video game culture, wait, I thought Australia had really harsh censorship. Well, yes and no. For some reason, they're pretty harsh on video games and certain other really niche markets, but they do get away with a lot of stuff that wouldn't go over well in the US at all. Any curse words and even nudity sometimes are allowed on basic TV, for example. Riana asked what I like to do for fun, and I have way too many hobbies and interests to list, actually. I dabble in way too many things, I feel, but the few things that have really stuck with me over the years are playing games, performing music, and just hanging out with my partner as we visit shops and just make fun of about everything that we can find even the slightest bit of humor in. So that about does it for the first episode of this experimental little series called Penpals. I really hope that you've been interested so far and that you might even want to be a part of the show yourself. Things are really divisive nowadays, and I hope that you'll continue following us as we discover what makes us all interesting people. I'd like to thank Riana for taking the plunge and being the first person to ever write me for this project. You sound like a very interesting person with a lot going on for yourself, and I hope you'll write to me again in the future to tell me that you got your math degree, or that your Etsy shop has blown up, or just that you're still happy. Keep an eye on the mail for the next few weeks because I've sent you a letter of my own. And once you get it, if you would, let me know that you got it by posting in the comments or something. If you'd like to find some pen pals of your own, check out the subreddit here. Despite it being a small community, there are people posting just about every day looking for new people to write to. I'll put a link to the Penpals subreddit in the description of this video for you. On a different note, something that I found very weird when I was trying to start this project up is that I could not find a letter opener anywhere. Even the post office didn't have one. I put in a special order at the post office and they couldn't get me a letter opener. It's crazy. It's just sort of attests to how mail is a bit of a dying thing, you know? And just as a final word to you guys, I save every letter that I get, and everyone who's featured on the show gets a place on the globe. If I'm able to pen even just 10 countries, I would consider Penpals a major success. So shoot me a letter and let me know what life is like in your corner of the world. If you'd like to do that, just send your letters to Nate at P.O. Box 642, Broadbeach, Queensland 4218. And if you're outside of the country, make sure to put a little Australia at the bottom. I said this in my last video as well, but if you don't want to be featured on the show, please let me know in your letter. Anyway, folks, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.